So now it is time to see how our pipeline works in action. So let's now simulate a realistic simulation where an update to the software is made. So let's fire up our git bash here, verify that we are on the right branch and everything is good over here. So let's now, for example, change the app.js file and change this text to include a new text here. And now I will add the file to the staging or to be included into the next commit, and then I will commit this change. So now when I push the change to the remote branch, this will simulate a situation where we need to first pull the change we made from the, since we updated the CI file from the, let's see, this doesn't, okay, I think it went through. Yes, since we updated the CI file from the graphical user interface, I didn't have the change here in my local repository. So however, now it did go through, and I think that also that according to the log, also the update I made to the app.js went through. So now the pipeline should have triggered here, or maybe not. Let's see from the project what is the status of the app.js here. Okay, the update, yes, it didn't go through to the remote repository, it only went through to my local one. So now when I push the change, it should trigger the change, should go to here to the remote repository. Okay, now it seems good, and the pipeline should now have triggered. So now we have a realistic setting where a software developer like myself in this situation updated the software and pushed the change to the main branch. Everything seems good here, so we can maybe while the pipeline runs, we can see some additional configurations that we could make to the pipeline. So I have here open a keyword reference for the GitLab CI file. So to recall, here is the current configuration file, and currently it has these three stages, and the stages have they belong to certain stage. This is kind of a bit complicated syntax here, but that's not the main point. And also the stages have this image where this which is at the starting point, kind of the Docker image that is used at the starting point in the relevant stage. So here we have this node image, and because we have it, the npm, which is the node package manager command, is available on the script section. So that is why we use the node as the base image here, and this containerized stage we have the Docker image, since we want to use the Docker commands on the script section. There was this additional syntax we needed to use in order to have the Docker command available. Finally, on the deploy stage, there isn't an image, since the only thing that is practically done is to make a new deployment to the environment. But Here on the keyword reference we can see lots of other options we could have here. There are some familiar ones like this environment here and the image here, and maybe one interesting one to use would be this when. There is it is possible to run certain things when the pipeline on failure. So when a job or a earlier stage fails, there is some things that could be done. Maybe this on failure could include, the script could include a message to the developers, for example, an email message that the pipeline has failed or some things like that. That is an interesting option that could be used. Let's see now where the pipeline is going. Okay, the containerized section actually failed. So I think we need to retry this section here. The HTTP error that it gave maybe refers to the fact that the registry wasn't available for some reason or another. So let's see. I think it will rerun the containerized state, so this demonstration will not be perfect, but things are not always very simple when we are talking about software development, and this is a good demonstration of various problems that can arise when we are configuring these kinds of difficult and complicated systems. So now it is pulling the application again. We can verify that yet the update we made to the app.js hasn't come through. So we can wait still for a bit and see if there is some interesting keywords here on the reference. Here is one example on retry. This retry actually could be good in this case, since the containerized stage failed due to a problem that doesn't seem to be relevant, or it isn't. It has to do with the Docker Hub or not the Docker Hub, but maybe the GitLab container registry. So the retry keyword could be useful, so that it would automatically try to publish the container again in case of failure. But now it seems that the containerized stage has been completed successfully, so let's go ahead and see if the last stage is running, and it seems to be running here. So this stage, to remind you, makes the new deployment to the GitLab, makes new deployment to the GitLab environment we defined. And now if we go ahead and head to the environments here, we should see a new deployment that was done by our pipeline. And now what this in turn should have been done is it has called this webhook, and we can go ahead and see on the Azure logs if the pipeline has rerun, so if the deployment process has started automatically. So this is the previous logs from the previous video. We can see the timestamp here, and if we now refresh, we should get a new fresh deployment here, and this is the old one. The timestamp was 10 and 28, so this is still the old one. But now this does look like some new things. So it has started to pull the new image. So I assume that it hasn't yet, or it actually has just updated. So yes, the process was very quick actually. So maybe it even used some kind of a caching there. But now the update we made has arrived to this production environment, and it was automatic if we don't count the rerun of the containerized stage that I made. But we needed to make that because for some reason the stage failed, and it probably won't be happening again when the pipeline is run, since the problem seemed to have something to do with network connection error or something like that. The error code was HTTP 500. But now we have demonstrated the pipeline, and everything seems to be working correctly. So this is a kind of a minimum viable CI/CD pipeline demonstration, and it can be further optimized, for example, by using these different options that are available here on the GitLab keyword reference. There is a lot of different things and good examples here on the GitLab documentation, so I do recommend to check it out. But hopefully this made sense and clarified the concept of CI/CD pipelines to you.